This young woman slept with her father. I kid you not. She slept with her biological father not just once or twice, but for 2 years, and even organized their marriage together. How is this even possible?
Nikimpeleka kwenyumba malikuwa iko ifale tuchunge mama akiona baba kwangu akiona babangu babake yambia kisi mamake haiko tuchunge mamake akui.
Was this done on purpose? And why didn't the mother prevent this from happening? Even in my worst dreams, I have never imagined something like this.
Tusikiseke papa alimfuata mshambre ipare mpesha briefing kwanza. Cha baby nilipasha pitikana cha salifika kanisa liona tule mwanaume.
Determined to understand more of what happened, I traveled to Goma town in DRC to find the truth. This is their story.
My name is Sandrine Murhula, and I'm not sure where to begin. I still struggle with self-acceptance, which makes sharing my testimony challenging. It all started one day when I was at a bar, drinking beer. A man approached me, and we shared some drinks before going home together. As time passed, we got to know each other better and met more often, going out and having fun together.
The man appeared sincere and was seeking a relationship, leading him to propose to her, and from there, the rest, as they say, became history.
As time went by, he asked if I had parents, to which I confirmed, and also asked if I would like to be his wife, and having spent a few years together without any misunderstandings, I quickly said a big yes to his proposal. I was ready to become his partner, and I took him home to meet our parents. I brought him at my parents' place to meet them. Unfortunately, my mother wasn't around and we had to wait for her. And when she came, she immediately went into her room and called up my dad as if something had happened.
From that moment, it was clear that something was not right, as the mother's expression shifted dramatically upon seeing the man who intended to marry her daughter, marking the start of a regrettable chapter.
She just came out declaring it was impossible, unable to wait to hear why I wanted her approval, or even allow me to introduce the person I had brought home. We questioned what the issue was, and all she kept saying was no. I was stunned. I had been living with this man since 2022, and bringing him home felt like an honor I was bestowing upon my parents. However, the reality turned out to be far worse than I could ever have imagined. My mother said, "That man cannot marry you," while breaking into tears and crying out loud. I followed her in her room while leaving the man in the living room. After leaving him alone in the living room for so long, the man left, and I persisted in asking my mother what was wrong, and she revealed a shocking truth: that man is your biological father.
She was confused because they had met for the first time in a bar, where the man had mentioned that he was divorced, a detail she found unproblematic at the time. But discovering that he was actually her father was not only shocking, but also not understandable.
I came to understand that the man I had grown up calling dad was not really my biological father, but this truth had been kept from me by my mother until after she divorced him. Still in disbelief, my mother took her time to explain everything, and we had to involve relatives to ensure that we did not continue an incestuous relationship. The man I had thought of as my lover disappeared without a word, turning off his phone and leaving as if he had recognized my mother, and we never saw each other again. I felt ashamed and could not bring myself to return to my mother's house. I realized what had happened was a taboo, even though I was unaware of it beforehand. I first met him when I was 23 years old, and it was not until I was 25 that I was told he was my father. During that time, my parents saw me leaving often. I would tell them I was going to Rwanda for business. They knew I had a lover, but I had not yet introduced him to them.
To learn more about her father, we visited her mother's place. Despite finding her occupied with household chores, such as cleaning the house, she still took a break and agreed to share with us her experiences and reactions upon seeing her daughter bring her own father home as a fiance.
My name is Kabuye Edwige, and I am Sandrine's mother. When I was young, only 16, and in Senior 3, I met a young man. We became close, and I later found myself pregnant. The man responsible for the pregnancy denied it, stating he was not ready to marry me. He then ran away from his home. Overwhelmed with thoughts and faced with the challenge of being pregnant at such a young age, I even considered abortion. However, I chose not to go through with it and eventually gave birth to the baby Sandrine, dedicating myself to raising her. A year later, I met another man who was willing to accept me and my daughter. He paid the bride price and we got married. He was caring and loving, treating her as if he were her biological father. He provided for everything she needed until she turned 23 and started to live her own life.
Everything seemed fine as Sandrine was working and living on her own, to the mother. She was a proud parent who was seeing her daughter trying and thriving to be independent until when she introduced her to that man.
She excitedly called me on the phone and said she has a fiance and she would like to present him to me. I said, wow, well and good, I can't wait. To my surprise, it was the man who had impregnated me back in high school and denied pregnancy, where I ended up producing Sandrine. It had been a long time, but come on, I wouldn't fail to recognize someone whom we had some memories. I ran away, and the husband asked what was wrong, and then told him more about the man and the relationship he has with my daughter. I realized it was my mistakes, because if I had told her earlier about her father, this would have not happened. I had kept it as a secret and lived to regret it. I would advise fellow mothers who have such cases to always tell their children everything they need to know before it's too late. I also think I would have asked her a picture of the fiancé even before bringing him to me. I would like to also apologize to my daughter Sandrine. I got you trapped and I'm sorry.
She believes that the reason the man never returned to Sandrine is primarily because he felt ashamed. Firstly, for the disturbing attempt to marry his own daughter, and secondly, because he failed to be the father that Sandrine had always needed and deserved.
My daughter has a million reasons to be depressed. She never got what she deserved as a baby. She never felt the love of her real father since young, and when she thought she has got a lover, boom, it was her father. Her life has transformed into a series of misfortunes instead of blessings, which has become a significant problem for her. So I'm just wondering how to remove the curse I caused to my daughter. Should I take her to church for some prayers? Should I take her to the elders for some blessings or traditional doctors? I'm confused. I feel like should do something, but I don't know what it is that I should do. It's shameful to us, and if there is anyone who would give us the idea of what we should do, you're welcome. My brother suggested that we should call Sandrine's father and talk about this, which we haven't done, but we're considering it.
After everything that happened, Sandrine wants to advise young women who fall in love with older men to be careful. She also warns men about the importance of not abandoning their parental responsibilities, as the events that unfolded were largely a result of the father being absent from her life.
A child has rights to know their parents, both the father and mother. I was denied that right, and the result was truly shocking. My father never knew me, and he loved me like anyone else. You know, love comes naturally despite age, but still I blame him and my mother for all what happened.
This story serves as a lesson for parents, particularly emphasizing the importance of providing their children with information about their biological parents, as it is their right to know. It also underscores the responsibility parents have towards their own children, highlighting the need for transparency and involvement in their lives. Thank you for watching. I am Simon Greenwood, and this is Afrimax English. Please remember to subscribe.